In the immediate aftermath of the Super Bowl, as celebrations and analysis swept across the NFL world, one voice from the winning locker room offered a powerful insight into why champions are built the way they are. Seattle Seahawks wide receiver Jaxon Smith-Njigba delivered a message that cut through the noise, crediting not just star power, but teamwork, trust, and the often overlooked foundation of success, the offensive line. Like this video and subscribe to the channel for more NFL stories and post-Super Bowl coverage. The Super Bowl is where legacies are defined. It's where preparation meets pressure and where individual brilliance is amplified or exposed by the collective strength of a team. And for the Seahawks, this championship moment wasn't just about touchdowns and highlights. It was about balance, protection, and the ability to execute when it mattered most. In a post-game interview that quickly gained attention across sports media, Jaxon Smith-Njigba spoke candidly about the Seahawks' offensive identity, singling out running back Kenneth Walker III and the offensive line that made the ground game possible. His words weren't scripted and they weren't cliché. They were the kind of praise that comes only from shared battles and earned trust. Smith-Njigba described the Seahawks' offensive line as special, emphasizing how their consistency and toughness opened lanes, sustained drives, and allowed the entire offense to operate with confidence on the biggest stage in football. Share your thoughts in the comments. Do offensive lines still get the respect they deserve in today's NFL? To understand why this moment matters, you have to look at how the Seahawks reached this point. Throughout the season, Seattle built an offense that didn't rely solely on explosive passing plays. Instead, it leaned into balance, using Kenneth Walker's physical running style to control tempo, wear down defenses, and set up opportunities through the air. Kenneth Walker III has long been known for his vision, burst, and ability to break tackles. But as Smith-Njigba made clear, even elite running backs need space to operate. And in this Super Bowl, the Seahawks' offensive line delivered exactly that. Time and again, Walker found clean running lanes, hit the second level untouched, and forced defenders into uncomfortable positions. That kind of success doesn't happen by accident. For wide receivers like Smith-Njigba, the impact of a dominant run game is profound. When defenses are forced to respect the run, coverage softens, safeties creep closer to the line of scrimmage, linebackers hesitate, and suddenly passing windows open that simply don't exist otherwise. That's where Smith-Njigba thrives, exploiting space, running precise routes, and turning small advantages into big gains. During the Super Bowl, that dynamic was on full display. Seattle's ability to stay committed to the run kept the opposing defense guessing. It extended possessions, controlled the clock, and reduced pressure on the quarterback. And as Smith-Njigba noted, it all traced back to the men up front, players whose names rarely trend on social media, but whose impact defines championships. This praise also reflects a broader shift in how modern NFL offenses are evaluated. In recent years, the league has tilted heavily towards passing, often spotlighting quarterbacks and receivers while minimizing the importance of trench play. But the Seahawks Super Bowl run offered a reminder that physical football still wins in January and February. Smith-Njigba's comments resonated because they came from a player who understands both sides of offensive balance. As a receiver, he benefits from explosive plays, but as a teammate, he recognizes that those plays are built on fundamentals, protection, leverage, and trust. His acknowledgement of the offensive line wasn't just respectful, it was strategic insight. If you appreciate players giving credit where it's due, go ahead and like this video. Kenneth Walker's performance in the Super Bowl became a focal point of that conversation. He ran with patience and power, consistently falling forward and keeping the offense ahead of schedule. On short yardage situations, he converted when it mattered. On longer runs, he punished defenders who took poor angles. But as Smith-Njigba emphasized, those moments were the product of collective execution. Offensive linemen operate in anonymity. They don't touch the ball, they don't celebrate touchdowns, yet they absorb the physical toll of every snap. In the Super Bowl, Seattle's line demonstrated discipline, avoiding costly penalties, maintaining assignments, and adjusting seamlessly to defensive looks designed to disrupt timing. That level of performance under Super Bowl pressure is rare, and it's why Smith-Njigba's words carried weight. He wasn't delivering generic praise. He was pointing to a truth every football player understands. Championships are won when stars and role players move as one unit. Beyond the Seahawks, Smith-Njigba's comments sparked discussion across the league. Analysts and former players echoed his sentiment, noting that the best postseason teams are often those with the strongest offensive and defensive fronts. Flashy skill players may draw headlines, but the trenches decide outcomes. This moment also highlighted Smith-Njigba's growth as a leader. Still early in his NFL career, he has already shown maturity in how he speaks about teammates and the game itself. His ability to look beyond personal statistics and highlight shared success signals the kind of mindset that sustains winning cultures. Subscribe to the channel for more player reactions and behind-the-scenes NFL stories. For Kenneth Walker, the recognition was equally meaningful. Running backs often bear the brunt of criticism when offenses stall, yet their success is deeply interconnected with blocking schemes and execution. Smith-Njigba's public praise reinforced that football, at its core, is a game of interdependence. As the Seahawks now turn toward the offseason and the challenge of defending a championship, this philosophy will remain central. Maintaining offensive line continuity, investing in depth, and preserving chemistry will be just as important as retaining star talent. The Super Bowl may have ended, but the lessons from it will echo throughout the league. Teams watching Seattle's formula will take note not just of who scored, but of how the game was controlled. Balance, physicality, and unselfish leadership remain timeless. In a sport often driven by individual accolades, Smith-Njigba's words served as a refreshing reminder of football's collective soul. They reminded fans that behind every highlight reel is a group of players doing the unglamorous work that makes greatness possible. In closing tonight, Jaxon Smith-Njigba's post-Super Bowl praise wasn't just a compliment, it was a statement of identity. It captured what made the Seahawks champions: trust in the offensive line, belief in the run game, and a shared commitment to winning the right way. As the NFL enters its offseason, that message stands tall. Championships aren't built on stars alone. They're built in the trenches, snap by snap, by teams that understand success is shared. Thanks for watching. Like, comment, and subscribe for more NFL coverage, and we'll see you next time.